Okay, today's a big day for gaming laptops. We have new CPUs from Intel, new CPUs from AMD, and of course, new GPUs from NVIDIA, their new RTX 30 series for laptops. Now, this type of upgrade scenario doesn't happen very often. Normally you have like a CPU upgrade, and then half a year later you get a GPU upgrade, and it just flip-flops between the two. This is like the perfect alignment where they all refreshed at once. So if you get something new this year, you're gonna get something that lasts a little bit longer than normal. In front of me is a stack of laptops. These are the premium gaming laptops from Asus. And here's the thing, before today, like there's pre-briefings, right? For journalists, you kind of hear about what companies are gonna bring out, and then we kind of deliver the news to you. Every company is coming out with some cool stuff right now. But Asus is doing something a little bit different. They did a full refresh of their entire lineup, and it's AMD across the board. So I wanted to get these things in to show to you guys because this is something special. So at the top is the stuff that I'm personally most interested in, but I think at the bottom there's gonna be stuff that I know a lot of you guys are gonna be interested in just because of the price point. So at the top, we have the new Asus G15. So last year they had the G14, very popular device. It was like one of the first good AMD-based gaming laptops, right? It kind of changed the way that we perceived what AMD could deliver in a laptop. This is the 15-inch version, G15, and it comes in two colors, obviously the white, which I'm partial to, as well as a gray. Now this year, it's been redesigned properly. So it has the same kind of design language and styling as the popular G14 from last year. So it has that magnesium alloy body, as well as the perforated top panel, so you can kind of see the little dots on the back of it. This one does not have the enemy matrix, like the thing you can light up the little dots on the back. That's still only on the 14, but the internals are where it gets special. So this is running the new AMD 5900H, 8 cores, 16 threads, and this device can be equipped with up to an RTX 3080. Now, they will not allow me to benchmark it. They want the drivers to be finalized before I showcase these numbers to you. But having seen this thing and having just played with it a little bit, I don't think they really needed me to wait. I feel like if I just showed this to you guys would be impressed, but we'll wait. Okay, and that's just the case for all of these. These are all engineering samples, so I'm held back by, I guess, review embargoes until you guys can see the actual data. So battery in here, 90 watt hours. It also has capability for 100 watt USB-C charging if you have access to it, but it still uses a barrel plug. That's what comes out of the box. But this is a very, very capable system. It's not like the lightest and thinnest thing out there, but I've always liked, I like the G14 because of the styling, not just because of the color. I think a lot of people that watch my videos are like, oh, you just like it because it's white. No, it's because when you have a magnesium alloy case and you have like there's plastic components as well, but it just feels super tanky. I don't feel like there's any fragility or kind of delicate feeling to this. That's why I like these devices so much. Okay, the G14 has also been updated. This has retained the shape and styling of the one last year, so it's just an updated version of it. But there's a couple things that they've added, relatively minor. So there's a kind of prismatic or iridescent glow to some of the metal accents, but the big upgrades are on the inside. So once again, AMD 5900 or 5800H CPUs, and the GPU can be upgraded to, I believe, an RTX 3060. Now, both of these devices, the G14 and the 15, have upgraded screens. So you get a 1080p 144 hertz panel, I kind of like the baseline, or if you want to be fancy, 1440p 165 hertz panels with crazy good color accuracy. So the G15 can supposedly hit 100% DCI-P3, which is fantastic for a high refresh, high resolution gaming panel. Like that's something I gotta see. So I'll be honest, if this is as good as they claim, particularly with the screens, I'm gonna be tempted to switch over to one of these, maybe even the 14-inch, because this kind of power and portability is quite unique. You don't get this in anyone else, right? You just cannot get this size with this kind of gaming and video editing performance. Okay, moving on, we have the Zephyrus Duo. This is the double screen gaming laptop, and it's got that tilting screen, so when you open it up, the screen pops up just a little bit to give you a better viewing angle. Now, this machine has also been updated to AMD CPUs, as well as the best NVIDIA RTX GPUs. So you have RTX 3080, but the interesting thing to me is that this is a device that is like the best of the best. And even when it came to a premium product like this, they've updated it with AMD, which unlike last year, I don't know if you guys watched my channel last year, but that was my biggest complaint, right? Every laptop company was still using Intel chips, despite AMD being the clear and kind of better choice for the consumers. It was so hard to find a premium gaming laptop with AMD. Everything, it's all AMD. Okay, so AMD 5900H, RTX 3080, it's gonna pump out crazy numbers. This was the first one I opened up. When they all came in, I was like, I gotta check this thing out. It delivers. It delivers. It still has the trackpad on the right. So if you're left-handed, you're still screwed. So the screens, you got a couple options. There's a 4K 120 Hertz panel, as well as a 1080p 300 Hertz panel. So if you need the speed, you have it available on this machine. The cooling system, so they've added a second air intake underneath this smaller screen, and it's running liquid metal. So the performance on this device this year should be improved. Okay, let's move on to the next device. So this is pretty cool. This is a 13-inch Ultrabook looking device called the Flow X13. And it looks pretty tame, right? 13-inch device, magnesium alloy, it's like an Ultrabook. And it opens up to be a 2-in-1. It can be folded all the way back to become a tablet. But this kind of product isn't new. I mean, this doesn't even look like a gaming product at all. It is running AMD's new 5000 series chips, which is cool. You know, 8-core, not a ton of wattage, so it can't sustain a ton of boost. But if you'll notice, there's an interesting port over here. And this changes what this device can do. So this can be connected to this. Okay, so let me explain. This is an external GPU, and it's running an RTX 3080 inside this very small package. Now, let me explain my thoughts on this device. There was a time, like 3 years ago, when I was personally interested in external GPUs. I did a lot of videos on them, and there was this belief, a personal belief, that this was going to be the future. External GPUs would be the future for laptop gaming. And there were a lot of attempts by multiple companies to try to bring it to life, but it never became mainstream because of, I guess, 2 or 3 reasons. Number one, it's expensive, right? You got to get an enclosure for it, which costs money. Then you got to put your GPU in it, which obviously costs money. But then the performance that you get from your external GPU is heavily crippled by a Thunderbolt 3 connection. It's like let's say you buy an RTX 3080. You lose like 20-25% of that performance just because of that connection. This delivers it in a completely different way. So this is a connection that delivers double the bandwidth of Thunderbolt 3. And the box is small. It houses a laptop 3080. It's got a full set of ports on the back and an SD card reader. The port, however, is proprietary, so you're dependent on Asus supporting this thing. Hopefully they continue with it. But this makes so much more sense to me than a traditional external GPU right now. It's just, the idea was sound like a traditional external GPU enclosure, but this is so much better. And if you have this system, if you're fortunate enough to pick something like this up, this gives you an extremely versatile setup, right? You got this crazy Ultrabook, you have this extremely powerful GPU you can connect it up to. You can squeeze all of the juice out of that GPU because of this connection. You don't lose any of that performance. Okay, so that is the Flow X13. Now, I can't test this thing out because this seems to be much more dependent on drivers than all the other stuff. So the performance on this thing, we'll have to wait for a future review. But the idea is, it's on point. I love it. Okay. Let's move on. So the next thing is the Asus TUF A15. Now this is a device. Okay. So I have, if you've seen my kind of like laptop rating video I did at the end of last year, I did not rate the A15 very well because of one big issue, thermal issues. And this is a very popular laptop. This was, in certain parts of the world, the best-selling gaming laptop last year, likely because of the price point. It comes in quite inexpensive, but I didn't love the thermals. They changed it heavily. Now, I cannot open this. I've been told not to open this. I want to so badly because I took a peek and like you can see it. Maybe I'll just open it for you guys. Asus, I'm sorry, but I just have to show my audience the insides because I know they're going to appreciate this. So we have a completely redesigned thermal system. We have way more heat pipes. We have a third exhaust. It now vents out the side as well. And we have new fans. They're made with a better material. They have a better design. They have more fan blades. The whole thermal system is just significantly better. So if you've been eyeing this system, and because it's got the new AMD CPU as well as the new NVIDIA GPUs, this year would probably be a great year to get it, assuming the pricing doesn't creep up, because this stuff probably didn't come for free, right? All the materials, even the copper alone, just to make the extra heat pipes and stuff, it all costs. But hopefully they've kept this thing as a inexpensive entry-level device. The logo has also changed, so it's no longer that weird wing-shaped logo. It's more like modern-looking design, and you still have that tough on the side. But yeah, clean-looking laptop, which I think a lot of people are going to enjoy. The next device is another ROG Tough model. This is brand new for this year. It's the Dash F15. So the traditional gaming laptop, right? You have a kind of performance GPU for playing games, and then you're often forced to purchase a high-end CPU to go along with it, like an 8-core or sometimes like a 6-core CPU. But those components are expensive and they run hot, and it's like they're difficult to cool, and that's what makes gaming laptops the challenge that they are and the price tag that they are. This one removes that expensive CPU and puts something that's a little bit more reasonably priced. These are equipped with Tiger Lake Intel CPUs, and they're 4-core CPUs, but they're still equipped with high-end RTX 30 GPUs. So you get a system that should be a little bit cheaper, should be a little bit easier to cool, so it's thinner and lighter, and it still plays games very well, because the main thing is the GPU for most games, right? This is a model that I think more companies should try to adopt. It's like this kind of like mid-tier gaming laptop that still retains like the thin and light profile, but it doesn't cost a ton. Now, pricing for all this stuff is unknown at this point, but just from what I've been told, this is not going to be like a super expensive premium model, but it still has that like kind of classic Zephyrus look. It's a nice one, and it comes in white. Also, the lighting on this thing is teal. So if you ask me, this is clearly the best laptop in the world. But for most people who don't edit videos or who don't use applications that can take advantage of a lot of CPU cores, this is a really good option, especially for the kind of mid to lower price point gaming laptops. Okay, let's close this off with these devices. So these are the Strix laptops. There's a 15-inch model as well as a 17-inch model, and these tend to be a little bit thicker. Asus doesn't focus too much on keeping these guys like super thin. They have good performance, but they tend to be a little bit chonkier. They of course have the new AMD CPUs, also running liquid metal, as well as up to an RTX 3070. And the displays on these go up to a 300Hz 1080p panel or a 1440p panel. And of course, you have the underglow. I know the Strix laptops have a relatively unique glow that some people like, and if that's your jam, these deliver that. Now there's also a Scar edition, so this is kind of like the premium version of the Strix devices. It's the same kind of idea in terms of the shape and design language, but this one has a removable like back cap over here, so you can swap them out with different magnetically connectable end caps, and they include a few different colors in the box. And there's also on the inside a optomechanical keyboard. This is the first time I've seen it from Asus. I've used a few other devices with this type of keyboard, and it's just like a very clicky, tactile mechanical keyboard. It's not for everyone because it does make your keyboard usage a little bit louder, but it is available if you're interested in it. And there's also this pretty cool semi-translucent component to the keyboard deck. I think it looks quite nice. Now the screen, so this has also been upgraded compared to the Strix, like the regular Strix. This has a 360Hz option, so it's like a super fast screen, and it can be upgraded to an RTX 3080 if you need that extra GPU performance on this kind of laptop. But that is the lineup. I feel like this year, two things come to mind. Number one, I feel like Asus is the company that, like, they were one of the first to do this whole AMD push, right? And I feel like this year they're bringing that chip to all of their devices. I love that. It's like it's AMD time. I like to see that. I like to see the competition. Not that I want to, take a dump on Intel, but they're giving us AMD options, even in their top of the line premium products now, which is really nice to see. But the second thing that comes to mind is pricing. So I obviously don't know any of the price on all of these devices, but there's a part of me that's worried that the pricing is going to go up. Like last year, AMD devices were Not that they were super cheap, but they were well priced, reasonably priced. And I'm afraid because at this point, AMD knows that they have something really good. And not just that they know they have something really good, they know that we know that they have something really good. So because we all want this stuff now, because AMD's options are so good, I'm afraid that pricing will bump up a little bit, but we will have to see. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it. I'll see you guys next time.